Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, Secretary Greg Domingo, Secretary R.C. Balasican, Mr. Paterno Dizon, Chair, Dr. Sergio Ortiz Luis Jr., President PhilExport, Mr. Donald D., Director General Lilia de Lima, former Secretary Cayetano Paderanga, representatives from PhilExport chapters nationwide, industry associations, individual company exporters and business organizations, Attorney Mike Varela, Mr. Jose Tito Pardo, Mr. Ed Lacson, Mr. Feliciano Torres, Pastor Francis Chua, Mr. Alfred C., fellow workers in government, honored guests, mga minamahal ko pong kababayan, magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. This is a challenging time for the export sector. In today's global milieu, the strategy of export-driven growth that was pursued very aggressively by China, Japan, Korea, and many other countries in Asia over the last several decades is becoming increasingly difficult to continue. Since most of the big export markets that fuel that growth, like Europe and America, are facing significant economic challenges. We wish it were otherwise, but the fact is we cannot predict how long this slowdown will last. This is a time when the most prudent thing to do for those in the export industry is to hunker down, to continue to look for markets, and to improve efficiencies. Right now, I am told that some countries are not even aware of the Philippines' thriving banana export industry. You'll be surprised that a lot of them are in Western Europe. We must remain proactive in looking for these countries and opportunities because I tell you, this slowdown will end. And when the dust settles, the global environment we find ourselves in may be very different from the one that we grew up with. The hot export good may no longer be athletic sneakers, but coconut water. The furniture you manufacture originally meant to appeal to a newlywed couple in California may have to cater to the tastes of a couple in New Delhi. The point is, when the global economy begins to recover, we must be ready to adapt and adjust to whatever the new environment is. Your situation is not much different from what our administration encountered when we first came into office. We came into power not knowing exactly what we would find, even before we started. We knew there were problems we would have to deal with, but we were still staggered by the sheer amount of anomalies we uncovered every day, seemingly in every sector. There came a point where many of us just anticipated the weekend, because then we were at least spared from discovering even more irregularities. But as we found these problems, we worked long nights to find solutions, and through hard work, perseverance, and a little creativity, we did indeed find the solutions. We decided, for example, to institute a new budgeting process, zero-based budgeting, through which we are curbing government spending on projects that simply do not work and spending that money instead on programs that directly help our people. We pursued procurement reforms, which allowed us to make certain that we get the best price for every bridge and every road we had to build. These have allowed us to give conditional cash assistance to 3.1 million Filipino families, given that they send their children to school and that expecting mothers and children receive regular medical checkups. These have allowed us to fund our efforts to erase our backlog in classrooms and to expand the coverage of our healthcare system as to enrollees and covered diseases. Amazingly, while we were doing this, our deficit figures actually improved from 3.5% of gross domestic product in 2010 to 2% in 2011. The money we have saved, together with the fiscal space we have created, has brought about some very good news. Under our administration, the Philippines has been on the receiving end of 9 credit ratings actions, positive if we may add, including an upgrade of Moody's of our credit rating from BA2 to BA1, which we received news of just yesterday. This means that right now, all 3 major agencies place us just one notch away from investment grade. And even without formally reaching investment grade, we are already borrowing money at rates that are 2 notches above investment grade. The results of our efforts have also shown in the economy. In the first 27 months of our administration, our stock market has reached highs 46 times, or broken highs 46 times. In the first semester of this year, our economy grew by at least 6.1%, so far besting our forecast of 5 to 6%. According to the 2012 report of Knight Frank and Citi Private Bank, we are projected to be the 6th fastest growing economy in the world for the period between 2010 to 2050. Might I emphasize, this is all happening at a time when the world economy is beset with uncertainty. We have achieved so much, and I tell you today, we are not done. We know that our country's potential reaches far higher than where it is now, and we will do everything in our power to build on our momentum. As we do this, we continue to recognize the value of exports, because your sector is one way we can truly capitalize on our greatest competitive advantage, namely our people. I remain confident in your ability to weather the storm. More and more, our country's economic performance has put our workers on a larger stage, and companies are noticing just how skilled, creative, and loyal they are. They are noticing how poised we are to move up the value chain in terms of both manufacturing and service. This is why companies like BE Aerospace are coming here, or are actually here, to have our workers build galleys and ovens and lavatories for Airbus and Boeing. This is why Luwenthai has expanded operations here, having our workers produce luxury items like bags from Coach. This is why companies like our own Atlantic Gulf and Pacific have grown, hiring our people to build oil, gas, and mining modules for consortiums like JKC, made up of Japan Gas Corporation, Kellogg Brown and Root, and Chiyoda. This gives me optimism that when the world recovers from the recession, our export sector will be ready. In this regard, you can count on your government support. All I ask is that you continue what you have been doing this past several years, and that you stand by us as we pursue our agenda of reform. In return, we will stand by you now when things are tough, and in the future when things will undoubtedly be better. Before I end, it is really in these times of adversity where we are given opportunities to truly prepare for the coming opportunities. It is within our grasp. It is but a matter of faith on all our parts. Thank you. Good evening.